Ooh, excellent connection. I like to see that. Where is me? Come on. Oh, there we go. All right, I think we are live. See what OBS says. Should be. Wait for anybody to get in here. So, I went actually and drove today to. It's pretty crazy. Went and drove to a cemetery today. Because we have this. We have this thing that's actually in my town, and it's this huge. I don't know what you call it, like mausoleum. It's like this, but it's like a pyramid. I was trying to get some reference to the size of this thing, and it's super close to me. Can we see this? Maybe not. But this thing is just like massive. And I just felt like, hey, I never saw it before. I might as well go check it out. But I kind of like going just to, just to see some different stuff every once in a while. And today, like when I was going through there, it was just like one of those reminders. Whatever we do with our money, we just don't take it with us. There's like 10,000 people passed away in here. And then here is the craziest thing. Are you ready? I found this tree that was right in the middle. It's like a dollar sign with diamond. Is that somebody saying like you're supposed to diamond hand something? Weird. What's up, Velocity? Or is it saying don't diamond hands it, or else you're gonna end up here? I thought it was pretty crazy to see that. But I was just kind of there for the pyramid. Somebody's house that I went to, they're like, "Oh, you live there and you've never seen that thing before." But then I just saw this like off in the distance. But yeah, this guy, whoever these guys are, they like I think they were from like the 1800s or something. This thing was built. Apparently it's something that you come see when you come to my city. No idea. But anyways, thought it was pretty cool. Thought I'd share that for a second. Well, maybe some people jump in here, see what we're gonna talk about. I usually never have. Today I don't really have anything off the top of my head. Although, very exciting, Tesla announced, or they actually did, they have the subscription-based autopilot, which I think should be very good. We'll see how everybody takes that, but it's like different stocks. I watched, of course, Rob Maurer, but like Adobe, like when they went to subscription-based, I mean, man, they've done pretty dang well. I was gonna look at their history. I know Adobe's done well, but that subscription-based model, anybody, Apple, like just recurring charges. And I was like, who are the people that are actually gonna subscribe to autopilot? And at the end of the day, I guess it kind of makes sense. They're gonna charge 199 bucks a month for the autopilot, and instead of paying $10,000. So yeah, if you're gonna only own your car for 3 years, but kind of the weird thing about that is I see myself owning mine for 5 or maybe 10 years or something, and then who knows when the actual full self-driving comes out, maybe it's going to be $25,000 and subscription's going to make way more sense. Do I ever do stop losses on put credit spreads? I mean, you can't in Robinhood. I do. I have done it on my Tastyworks account, but I have not done it on Robinhood. You just can't. You're only allowed to do. You can do stop losses on single legs, and that's it. So you can. That's the only thing you can do. But on the other side, which I've been trying to get in the habit of doing a little bit more often, was actually just putting in a closing order kind of no matter what, because there's been a few times where I've missed my window of opportunity since I don't really do stop losses on anything that where I would have closed it out, at a certain amount, like 75-80% profit, then like I'm like in my mind I would close it out at that point, but then I'm in a meeting or doing something else and I miss the opportunity. So that's something I've been trying to get in the habit of doing more and more, but I honestly really haven't. If you want stop losses, I mean, you're gonna have to use. I know, like Tastyworks, you can do it on. I think Thinkorswim. I haven't done it on there on TD either. Will I do lessons, public or private, one-on-one, and teach us how to do the wheel strategy? Yeah, totally. Like totally public. It's the most simple thing. I mean, if you wanted to, like, certainly we could jump on a call one-on-one if you wanted to, but it is the most simple strategy ever. And like, if you're going to be running it, you kind of need to understand the basics. And we can kind of run through it real quick and see if there's any specific questions you have about it. But number one is finding the underlying, whatever stock you're going to play the wheel on. You have to like the company enough to not mind owning the shares. You're okay with the volatility. You're okay with it going down. And you have to be okay with letting them go. Basically, it's just going to be a vehicle for profit over the long term. So to find something that perfectly meets that criteria, it's like, that's super difficult. Oh yeah, because we were talking about that a little bit. But yeah, let me jump back into that. That's what I figured when you're asking about the one-on-one. Like, I wouldn't want to do, like, we could set up a call or whatever if there's some part of it you don't understand, but hopefully, like, we could talk about it now. And if you have any questions, it's super, super straightforward as far as the wheel is concerned. And I think the other component, you want to find something that you're going to be able to get decent premium for. And that's always kind of a mix, right? Because the more premium you get, the more volatile it's going to be, and the more likely you're going to have sliding to the downside, just as much as the upside. So you can see the one that we were running, or I am running, that I'm super down on, which is Tilray, just because I started this wheel off. I mean, I only have to go back like 20 days, right? Because I literally started it at the worst possible time by selling puts on it, but much better than buying the stock, because then I wouldn't have collected the premium I did by while it was going down. But we can jump into it real quick. Actually, we just had the one expire, and we'll do one next week, so we can look at that. Let's see, where is it? Oh, there's our wheel. So we're down like $800 on this wheel. $853 is what we're down. And so next week we're going to be able to sell some more calls on it. Let's go ahead and get this guy closed out. So these of course expired. And they expired yesterday. Closing cost, never. And that is it. So next week we're gonna look to sell some calls on there. And that's pretty much it. Okay, let's see. Will you ping me on Discord to follow up? Yeah, I will. Yeah, after this, and then even in a few hours or so, we could set something up. I have no problem with that. If there's something you're kind of struggling with and you want to go over, I know like typing everything out kind of back and forth is a little bit difficult sometimes. You're saying about how your friend made a lot of money on Tilray. How many was he trading? He started off trading. Let's see. Well, he started off before it was Tilray. It was what was Tilray before they merged? ACB or something like that, or I don't know. I don't remember that one. But he had this weird thought. He wanted not only to be able to do 100 shares. I know he started off with like 1,000 shares. He started off, I believe, his account with like $25,000-ish or so. I mean, obviously, from when I talked to him just a few weeks ago, he's down 25% of his account value, but he's still doing really, really well on that. I'll ask him more specifics about it and see what he is on. And that is, yeah, this is TD Ameritrade that I have up, Thinkorswim. When I buy common, I always do 100 shares. I do 2. It is so, yeah, it's so weird, like mentally. And then I'll watch some other content, even guys with like huge accounts, and they'll actually buy like hey, I bought 50 shares or 20 shares or something like that. I'm like, how do you do it? You can't even sell calls on it. It drives me nuts a little bit. But there are some that I'll just put like a regular purchase on, and just like let it run. So that way I'm getting an average kind of no matter what's happening. So I've done that like with the Qs and with SPY. I just grab $20 or something like that a day. Because overall, that outperforms most investors. What do I think of the market? It's like, I feel like the market right now is kind of on pins and needles. You have everything politically going on. You have Yellen saying what she is. I mean, we made it through Jerome Powell pretty decently in Congress. I don't know if you guys watch that, but I always think you should, if you're investing, to have a good idea of like what's actually being said instead of what's potentially reported by like third parties, or I guess second or third parties by the time the information gets to you. And inflation concerns are pretty huge, although like in the congressional hearing they did cite it was like I don't know if you know how the CPI works, like when you're looking at inflation, what they do, consumer price index, they take basically a basket of goods, things that everybody generally might use or need, like milk and eggs and hotels and cars and just like this whole basket of goods, and they see what the difference is like between different time periods. Like monthly, they'll say, okay, what does this same dozen eggs cost? But I think there was just a few things that accounted for the majority of that inflation calculation, which were, I believe it was hotels, cars. Like cars in June alone, they said went up 10%. Hotels, flights, lumber, and all of which are things that should be coming back down. But like the bonds, holy crap! Like the bonds, that's like another one. Oops, where are we? I think we're here. Yeah, I think the bond rate's like the 20 years. That just, I don't know, 150 is getting back to a scary level. When we were, boy, I can't believe we have to go back that far again. Yeah, because we were like at the 170s, and that was, in case you don't know, the bonds usually just don't move that much, and that's where this bond move up to 179, this is actually where I made. This is where I really started like pretty good with my account balance. I was like 500. This was my $550,000 play, was bonds here, and I think I'd sold them out like 170ish. I had 170 calls on them, and it was insane. This was like an overnight wake up, and as soon as the market opened, my account was up, 20 grand, 12 grand, like, and that was off a $500 play. It was crazy. So we have all that stuff, and I mean, it just depends how everything is digested. I don't have a real good. I don't think anybody really knows what to expect. Everybody's scared, but we're also looking at really good recovery at the same time. And then the things that are showing the high inflation as well, those are things that are kind of like we know as flights resume and scales of economy take place, flights are going to be cheaper. As hotels start renting more rooms, they're going to become cheaper. Used vehicles cannot go up in perpetuity. Eventually they are going to lose value, but when a used car actually went up in value, I mean, that's a complete anomaly. People buying a new car and then it going up in value. Yeah, it might happen with your Ferrari, but your Honda, no, not typically. So I think that stuff has to settle down. Most of the time, it seems like just like these last few scares that we've had with bond rates, where the market really took a pretty good noticeable dive. I was looking at it this morning or last night, and it's usually a couple weeks before everybody's back to calming down and then back on the uptrend. And I think I was looking at the SPY? I think that's where were we? I don't remember. I think this was like our last bond rate problem where we're hitting 420s. And then, so that was 5.7. And then we dipped back down. It felt like the end of the world. I don't know. I'm sure everybody remembers. It was like these bloody bloodbath. Everything was down. Oh my God, the market is crashing. And then it's less than, it was like 2 or 3 weeks later, and we're back to the upside, and now we're, fresh highs every few days. So I think the digestion just has to take a little while for that. Hope we could bounce back by September. Yeah, I think so. I think the digestion is just going to happen faster than what everybody expects. I think information just travels quicker than what we expect. Been sticking around 90% probability because I got burned during the dip with put credit spreads. Yeah, it's a good idea. I've been doing a lot more of the butterflies. They're higher risk, higher reward, but very little capital to profit. Like they can be your 20, 30 bucks into 500 instead of putting at risk $500 to make 100. So kind of the opposite. So I think that's pretty smart, like at least 90%. I mean, and it's just, I think now, like right now is a really rough time to be entering them. I mean, call credit spreads, that would have been pretty awesome if we would have grabbed some of those like on Nvidia or something. Which sucks, I think last week somebody's asked me about Nvidia this specifically, and I was like, yeah, it looks very oversold. They got burned on it, and I mean, I should have grabbed some call credit spreads on those guys. You watch it live. Do you watch like most of the congressional hearings that has to do with finance? I think it's such good information, especially if you actively trade. It doesn't make sense to not know it. Otherwise, you have no context as to what is going on. Like when I see the market falling, but I know the reason behind it, I'm more okay with it rather than it just falling for zero reason at all. That's always scary. It's like it's like you buying a car and it has stuff wrong with it, but the owner says, okay, yeah, you're gonna buy this car, and you're gonna have to do this, this, and that, and then so that's what's kind of coming, rather than you get it and then all of a sudden it's like making this funny noise, and you're like, that's a lot more scary. Do I believe inflation is going to be transitory? Do you think we're going to have the genie of the lamp? I think it's going to be transitory. Um, but it depends like how much digestion that takes. I don't think it's a really straightforward that, and that's of course my opinion. I mean, you can find an opinion on both sides of things. I hope we don't have runaway inflation. I actually just watched that. Oh my gosh, what country has the lira? I think it was the lira. I can't remember. But I've watched a few documentaries on these countries where they had that hyperinflation, where their money's worth nothing, and that is always the scariest thing. Actually, I know people that grew up in Vietnam when they had hyperinflation, and it's just insane to think like let's say you tucked away $1 million into an account, like that's your savings, your earnings, and that's like what you put away, and then all of a sudden it's worth peanuts. Like you tucked away $1 million, and then all of a sudden you couldn't buy a car with that $1 million. That's what's crazy. And I think I love having Jerome Powell on top of the issue. Like, I don't think there's anybody else that I would trust more than him. I think he's done a fantastic job. So I think if he needs to pull some levers, he absolutely 100% will. You have a 344 Qs. I didn't even see where the Qs closed. I think Qs. It was funny. I was looking. I think the Nasdaq and Tesla were both down the exact same amount for the entire week. Oh, 344s. Oh man, I hope we don't see that. I don't think so. I think that should be good. I'm hoping so. Like if we saw, God, if we saw 344s like this next week, like if Monday happens to be just a crappy day, then we're in for quite a ride, I believe. Hopefully nothing crazy happens over the weekend. Yeah. You agree you're waiting for him to take the money printer out. Yeah, I hope we yeah, your thoughts are right on the line with mine. We have to stop printing money. Like it is so funny if you're actually watching them. Then you can see like the arguments back and forth, and to me it doesn't even reflect some of like the real world stuff where people won't even agree that having all this super high unemployment that's supplemented is making people not go back to work. Like to me it's obvious. Somebody who makes $400 a week but they're getting $200 plus an extra $400 from the government, like why would they even try to go back to work? It's stupid. It's like absolutely it blows my mind. Like, are you guys not normal people? Would I rather sit and watch Netflix for more money or go to work at a restaurant for less money? Like, I don't know. I worked at a restaurant once for 2 days and said never again, but that's brutal. That's hard work. That's like most like in the back, I feel like that's super hard work. In the front, you're dealing with every customer who's a jerk because their steak wasn't perfect or whatever. There's a hair in my thing and life's not perfect, and oh my god. I had to have I think last week I showed you my fence was broken, and the guy who came and fixed it, he's like, yeah, he can't find workers. He's got friends and they're all just not going back to work because they're getting a bunch of unemployment. Thankfully that's all tailoring off, so we can start, instead of just using that money that we're printing, actually get some money back into the economy, get some money, some taxes paid. and start moving back in that direction. But that 3 trillion, 3.5 trillion, like 20% of our GDP's worth of infrastructure doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know any I don't know any infrastructure that is going to make that I feel like would improve my overall productivity. I don't know of any, but I live just north of Seattle. Maybe different parts of the country are different, and there's something my eyes are not open to. I hope so. I know there's a lot more stuff I don't know than what I do know, but maybe that's something. Maybe there's some part of the country where they need roads, they need bridges, and high-speed internet, and then they're going to be able to be more productive. But I also feel like the kind of jobs that really contribute, they're probably near big cities or like areas where more taxes are collected and infrastructure is pretty good. But maybe that's short-sighted of me. Also, the stupid EV charging stations. I mean, I use the ones I use. They can be private. They're good. And for us to supplement all those doesn't make any sense. Tax dollars. Oh, especially if you got a lot of kids. Yo, you are right. I cannot believe it. They're like, yeah, my girlfriend's friends. Holy crap. Like, some of them got like customers. I don't know. She calls them all her friends. 4 or 6 kids and stuff. They got bank. They probably all bought a bunch of Dogecoin with it though. But I think stereotypically, people are kind of broke. They want to spend money on stuff to make other people think that they're not broke, so they actually went and spent it on new iPhones or watches or jewelry or some stupid crap. They're all competing for those used cars. But yeah, that was seriously like that was truckloads of money those people got. And there was one gal, she's got a bunch of kids and she's doing like just fine. They have a business. But the amount of money that they got that they didn't need was it was way too much. Like, I don't know, whatever our cutoff was, and I don't even remember those first stimulus checks when they were at, what were they at? Like, you can make up to 80,000 or something like that. Like, man, if you make $80,000, you're still employed. You don't need a stimulus check. It's just gonna go in the savings. That's it. Or we're gonna buy these stocks that are down, and like we're gonna put that away and just become more wealthy. It's not like that didn't help anything. They should have like tuned it down to maybe 50,000 or something. They give way too much, man. You know, some are doing. Let's see, especially if they got a lot of kids. I know some doing way better now. The company that I work for had the best revenue year that they've ever had during the pandemic, and that was with shutting down. I think we were shut down for 6 weeks total. So we worked 10 and a half months. We were open for 10 and a half months out of the 12 and had the best year ever. Like, that's insane. And I know, like, there's a map of the U.S. somewhere where it was like how people were affected by the pandemic, and some people like did poorly and some people did well. We were like one of the areas that did do really well. But stimmy money, I think that people staying at home. Oh yeah, that'll give us some context. What do I work for? I do outside sales for an installation company. So basically like home improvement, retrofit kind of thing. So it's a lot of like, so for us in particular, it was, there were people that were staying at home so they could get stuff done. They had the extra money and because they were working from home, now they're like, oh, let me make my house more efficient, or let me get this project out of the way, because they had time to get contractors in and out. So that gave them a chance to do that. But it's ridiculous that we made more in 10 and a half months than we did in a normal year. And then I make more now because I'm 100% commission. This, with the supply chain as crappy as it is, all the pricing went up on materials, so I make a percentage of that. And so like my pay just went up. And unfortunately, I didn't get any stimulus money, but I guess it's better to make money than need stimulus. I think the main thing that they wanted people to go out and spend it, but a lot of people save their money or invest it, which I think hurt, but I don't know. No, you're 100% right. And here was the thing. What were you going to spend it on? During that time, when that first, round or two came out, what were you going to buy? Like, you literally, well, at least I felt like I literally couldn't buy anything. And if you're, there's the basic needs, there's the food and whatever that you're going to buy anyways, 100%. And then there's the novelty items maybe even like new shoes, right? Normally you're using your shoes, you're outside of the house, but like when we were locked down, you're not even using your shoes, you're not even using clothes. We were all stuck inside of our house for, I don't remember how long it was, but it was a long ass time. You're not using your vehicle, you're not spending it on gas. Girls didn't need to go buy makeup or bags to impress anybody because they literally weren't going out. Nobody was going out or doing anything. There wasn't anything out there to buy. Like, you weren't paying memberships to the gym. Those all got postponed. Amazon was sold out of half the stuff that you actually wanted. But to me, it was just there was nothing to buy during that time at all. Besides, so I think the majority of it did go into savings. A lot of people obviously started investing during that time. Which is why you saw the huge, that's what pumped up all the cryptos and I think the market in general. And people were bored. But what were you gonna buy? What were you gonna do during that time? There was nothing to do. And on top of, it's kind of hard to go back in mindset knowing what we do now. But at that point, we just didn't know. We didn't know what was going to be the timeline for a vaccine, what was going to be the timeline for us actually to go back to work. We didn't even know if there was going to be a vaccine at that point. So we were looking for, is this going to be a 6-month deal, a year deal, 2-year deal? Whole world economy? Is it just going to collapse? That recovery on the S&P, now that we're over it, we can look back and go, okay, cool, we made a good recovery, but it wouldn't have sunk down like that if there wasn't enough people believing that was the correct trajectory. I worked in a hardware warehouse during college over COVID. The company was making more in a month than I did in a year. It's time because people were doing a lot of home improvement stuff. Yeah, and that's the same thing. Yeah, people were staying home. That's why our company did well. Just because people were at home, they were getting their stuff done, stuff they didn't have time for. They weren't going out. They had an influx of money. And if they were working, at least where I'm at. So I have a ton of people that work Boeing, Microsoft, Amazon, Google. It's a good chunk of the people I work for that work for those companies alone. So they were all mostly able to work from home, so they could get those projects done. But 100%. That's what I saw. That's what I saw across the board. And at least you were working. God. And then we're the majority of the people that weren't working, are they gonna go work in a warehouse, or are they gonna go sit at home and collect their whatever $800 a month too? But that's cool. At least you were working. I enjoy it. I actually like working online. Yeah, let's see. Your best year on Etsy started in March 2020. Nice. Yeah, I actually have an online. I have an Amazon business that I run, and that was it's funny because I had products right prior to then that I was thinking about just getting rid of. So with Amazon, basically I have things prepped, it gets shipped to their warehouses, and then it's ready for people to buy. In case you don't know, usually you're buying stuff from me on Amazon, not I mean, not necessarily me, but people like me, instead of actually Amazon itself. But there were so many products that I was just about to get ready to dispose of them, because you have storage fees with Amazon, and then like the longer that they are there, the more they charge. So I was like literally looking at stuff that was coming up on a year, and I was about to have to pay for it, and it wasn't really worth having it stick around because it wasn't very profitable anyways. And then pandemic hit, and then prices just went up, and everything sold. Everything sold. Even like stuff we had bought as a company kind of as a mistake, like for too higher prices. The funniest one I think that worked out was bleach. We made an error on some sizes. Ended up purchasing bleach. It was in the warehouse, and I was like, I don't remember what we paid a gallon for it, but it was like way, way, way too much. And I was just like, oh god, I just need to get rid of this or whatever. And then pandemic hit, and all of a sudden Clorox stuff was worth 10x. I was doing part-time tile setting, and every house I went to, the whole family was just sitting inside looking for remodels. Yeah. What part of the country do you live in? Oops, dropped something. Just out of curiosity, because I'm always wondering, like, I know because I live in Seattle, I feel like major cities are going to be pretty similar. Northern? How northern? Like Reading? Zimbabwe? Wow. Sacramento? I'm pretty familiar with that area. I used to do some work at UC Davis. Oh, Weed, California. Yeah. That's such a small little town too. Southern California. Everybody's from California. Everybody's West Coast. So I was born. Let's see. I was born on, what is it, like Paul Davis. What is it? So I was born in Fairfield. Grew up like quarter of my year Huntington Beach, Orange County, California. My sister lives in Corona, or lived there. She just moved to Texas. Most of my family lived down there, but I did a ton of work at UC Davis, actually at the Primate Research Center out there. So I spent a lot of time down there. I actually think I could live in Northern California. Zimbabwe. What are you doing here? How do you invest? Is Robinhood available in Zimbabwe? I do like Sacramento though. I met cool people there. What advice would you say going forward for a 20-year-old in this day and age based on the context of financial independence, life habits? Oh man, that's too big of a question for me. Take a lot of risks. Let's see, off the top of my head, take a lot of risks. Realize no matter how bad you screw up, you have a lot of time to fix it. Just don't do any kind of criminal stuff that could screw up your record. But just take all the risks in the world. You have time to unscrew yourself. You could be a complete failure 2-3 times before the time you're 30, and you still have plenty of time to do whatever you want. Just try it all. And I feel like the more things that you try, and I've really like come to realize that this has been like the last few months realization for me. The more time you spend learning and just doing other things or new things, I think the longer your life feels. And like in a small context, I think it's like if you take a weekend and all you did is play Xbox or watch Netflix, your weekend goes very fast. But if you went and did like went for a hike, tried to go learn to paint. I don't know, hiked up a mountain. It seems like much more fulfilling, and seems like you did a lot more, and kind of makes your life feel a little bit longer. Financially, put 10% away of everything, and it'll grow like crazy by the time you need it. That's it. But that's on the spot. Holy crap. And travel. Go, just travel. Like, once you do, the world becomes a lot smaller of a place. I think I always find it neat, kind of a neat thought. There's like more diversity within another culture than there are similarities. Like, how people like to say, oh, these kind of people are like this, but there's always more diversity within it. Like, do everything you can to travel, even if it's on a $0 budget, pretty much. Go to some super poor countries. It is so worth it. Puts perspective on everything and really opens up your mind to a lot of possibilities, especially being from the US. When you go see some other countries too, like how you get to see like firsthand. Go to a communist country, go to Vietnam, go to don't go to the Congo, but go see some of that firsthand and put perspective on how lucky we are here and how much opportunity. Like, I mean, it's stupid. Like, I do this because I was bored and didn't have anybody to talk to like closely with me about options, and I wanted to share and talk about it. And I upload talking to my phone when I'm like making some trades and sharing my thoughts, and that's like literally it. And YouTube gives me some money for it. Like, that's stupid. Like, that's insane opportunity. Don't go to North Korea. Screw that. Don't go to North Korea. I would love to sneak in there, but I'd be chicken to that. Just go to like what is it? Where is it that the South Korean can go into North Korea? Like Pyongyang, I think. That's about as far as I think I would go into North Korea. All right. Can you look at Tesla option chain for this week? What do I think Tesla can go this week? Downways or sideways or upward? Let's see. I think I don't know. It could go upward, downward, or sideways. We have full self-driving, rental, or whatever, subscription that came out, which should be quite to the positive. We have earnings coming up. Typically, we'd see a run up before it. I think they're going to do well, but people are going to be scared. Like, I have a case in my head for every scenario, and I'm not heavily betting on any of them. Oh, yo, check out this. This is pretty fun. Let me see if I can find this. But let me grab I'll grab those chains in a little bit. North Korea. I'm wondering if I can find this. There was and don't ask me why I was doing this. There's a railroad station. There's no way I'm gonna be able to find it. Was it here? I think I was let me see. Train stops. This is definitely not related to Namyang. It is so hilarious. You can find like random places around the world. You can find like reviews on anything. Like the reviews of this train station. Very good place to sit, relax, and watch traders try to escape True Korea and get shot. Very misleading. The train is just 2 people and a handcar. Oh well, at least it's free. You just have to help out the local iron mine working for our dear leader. Like, we had this when you saw, like, you can find this stuff all over the world, and I remember this talking about North Korea. Actually, like, I low-key do want to go there. But I remember when Chop or Chaz was a thing. Like, there were so many good reviews on that. I love Google reviews for that. Oh, all right. Let's look at actual some Tesla options. I don't think, and I don't, because like IV is going to be so high prior to earnings. Like, there's not a good deal out there. So that's why I only grabbed some iron butterflies and condors, just $20, $30, $50. And I actually have the butterflies in all directions. But I think Monday we could see some good stuff based on the reaction to the full self-driving subscription. That's my thought, but who knows? Let's see here. Come on, window. All right, let's see. We can look at some options though. Do you prefer to, let's see, let me catch up, dude. North Korea, Syria. Never thought about going to Syria. I would love to see that scriptedness though. I know that they have the same thing in China too. Do I prefer to sell in the money puts or out of the money? Out of the money. Because especially, just who knows what's going to happen shorter term. Longer term, I'm fine with at the monies. If I really like the underlying. Yeah, I could do at the monies. I mean, that's what I've been doing with the S&P too, with SPY. I just sell that at the money put credit spread over the long haul. I know it's good. I'll manage them. So I've been opening them up month out. I'll look at them at 21 days and roll them out a little bit if they're moving against us. 2 to 6 months out. Like 6 months, I think you can start making some long-term bets. Although this year hasn't turned out as quite as I thought. But like 2 months out is probably where you should be opening them up in the first place. 6 months out, then you can place your bets. I'll do at the monies, no problem. Especially after a recent dip, I could do at the money, put credit spreads. I think I've done some out of the money, or have I done those? Yeah, I've done some in the money ones too. I'm sure I have. So I was just like, yeah, if it happens to work that way, and I still feel very strongly. At the end of the year, like there's no way we're not seeing 700. Even the 50% year-over-year growth without any of the full self-driving, the new batteries, the Model 2, and all that stuff. But we do have that coming. We have Cybertruck coming. We have sold-out battery packs, mega packs. That was something new that they just added that you can just legit order now. But we do have Cybertruck coming. We do have the Semi coming. We do have, the subscription's now here. The only thing that's weighing even a little bit down will be the Bitcoin movement, I think, in their earnings, like whatsoever. But I don't know if you know, as far as like Tesla's, their revenue recognition. So when they sell full self-driving, whatever I paid for mine, I don't remember what it was, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 or whatever. Because full self-driving is not a thing yet, they cannot say we made, like, let's say I paid $8,000. They can't say we made $8,000 on it. They have to defer some of it, so they can take in $4,000 of it, and the other $4,000 basically has to sit aside. Kind of in essence, like let's say 2 years down the road they never deliver on the product, or 5 years. I don't know when that is, and they're like, oh well, we tried. We can't do full self-driving. Then they have money set aside to give that back. So it's just not recognized at that point. But with all the subscription stuff, it's going to be able to be 100% recognized at the time of collection, which is that's going to be pretty awesome. William, what did you want to look at as far as the option chain for this week? If there is any. Do you think we'll run up a little this week? I think so. I mean, but you're also talking to someone who is like very very bullish on Tesla. Kind of like no matter what, I always see it going up, just because like I recognize what an awesome company is going to be, and I see years down the road where even if we took away the value that is not current, it being a $2,300 share price without the FSD, the batteries, and all this stuff. But by the end of the week, I think so, because we're going to have that earnings run up. But you're also going to pay a premium now, because there is going to be a lot of expected move coming up to earnings. So, I mean, like selling a wide iron condor, waiting for the end of the week. Like if you sold it a couple weeks out post earnings, they make their move, and then all the volatility goes away, and then you can close it out. That would be a play. But you're going to pay a big premium because everybody's going to be expecting it to move next week. A lot. Well, yeah, they're trying to destroy them. I think if we're talking kind of the same thing, yeah, there's definitely going to be a wider gap. But there's just more volatility. Like people are, because if you think about it right now, if we could buy a call or a put that was pretty inexpensive for next week, like after earnings, we would all buy them, because most likely, like no matter what earnings does, it's probably going to move the stock a decent amount. So we would buy those, and that's the reason it's going to be more expensive. And then right after earnings, whatever you paid for that should come down quite a bit, because we'll see what the move was. And let's say it moves to the downside, then like both, whatever that move was, the puts are going to be worth less if they're still pretty far out of the money, because it's already made its move. And then of course the calls are going to be like IV crushed. So not only will we be moving farther away from those strike prices, but now the expected move has already happened, and nobody expects it to now, bounce back up the other direction for several, $100. Well, this is the whole, okay. Well, the whole FSD subscription, would that make for a gap up Monday? Maybe just start with puts. I think you could get two things on Monday. I think first of it's going to be kind of filling in the gap from where it fell, depending on overall market sentiment, just because there's been a straight week of sell-off. And on top of it, the FSD subscription, depending on how much that's actually, I'm sure it's been reported. Is it on Thinkorswim yet? It's not even on there. And it always sucks when, the thing is that really sucks is like when it's reported on a Friday afternoon, people forget about it over the weekend. So it's like if somebody has good or bad earnings like on a Friday, especially if it's after hours, by the time Monday comes, the move's not as much compared to if that subscription was to come out like midday Monday or after Monday, and then Tuesday morning it could have that immediate reaction, or even after hours or before hours, so it actually moves. But the thing is, people have very short memories. They have very, very short-sighted and very short memories. That's what I notice a lot in the market. You don't know how to take the news these days. Gary Black is bearish on good news, saying FSD subscription is too expensive. Yeah, I think that is the biggest. That's the biggest challenge, is how to actually interpret the news. But I agree. Like, it's, in my mind, it's too expensive to pay for instead of buying. But I'm planning on owning my vehicles for a long time. But there's going to be people out there, and from a million people, I don't know how many actual, like, the third generation, like FSD 3, the those computers, V3 computers, are out there that are all capable of the FSD, but it has to be like this just little tiny amount, and it's 100% profit. That's the thing. And what I did notice, I saw a few people responding to it, and people they were like, yeah, well, I think I'd try it at least. And maybe somebody doesn't have a lot of people don't have an extra $10,000. Most people don't have an extra $10,000, and I don't know, like me having it now, I would never want to go back. And a lot of times people with subscriptions, they just don't cancel them. There's a lot more to it than just going, yeah, it's expensive. It's like I pay for I started off, I think it was free with it was my Samsung. When you buy your phone from Samsung, they give you 6 months of Spotify Premium and YouTube Premium, and then, okay, cool, so I'll have those for 6 months and then I'll cancel it. Did I cancel it? No. I'm used to not having to deal with ads or anything when I'm watching YouTube videos. That's too nice now. I don't want to go back. I couldn't even tell you what I pay for it. Is it maybe $10-20 a month? I don't know. But I like that convenience. Spotify, I can't remember if they have ads, or I can't remember, which is crazy. They probably have ads on there. And what else? Oh, I think you just can't listen to anything that you feel like at any given time without the premium. So now that I have them, I'm just not going back, and it just kind of like adds up. I have subscriptions like I have like 3 or 4 different channels I have whatever membership or subscribe to, just because I support what they're doing as a creator, as content. And those are even the ones I don't listen to anymore. I'm just like, cool. I'll just kind of keep that going. And I think it'll be the same thing with full self-driving, where number one, people don't have the extra 10,000, so they'll try it. Maybe want to show their friends or something like that. I don't know. For $200, they'll be like, okay, I'll just try it for a couple $100, maybe for a month, maybe for 2, and then it's just gonna keep on going. And then they're gonna end up with it for half a year. And the other part about it is it costs Tesla zero. They already have the software, have the computer. If they don't have the computer, you can pay to upgrade it. So that's not something that's out of Tesla's pocket. But it literally costs them nothing. They did the software, and somebody just has to put a credit card in and hit subscribe, and that's it. And it didn't cost them anything. The software is already there. So if they get it, they get it. They don't, they don't. And even if it's 0.01%, like just a little itty bitty tiny bits of people, that's just free revenue for them, just because they made the option to hit a subscription on full self-driving. So it doesn't really matter like if it's huge. I don't think half the people are going to use it. I don't think, if I did not drive like I do, I don't know if I would have it. If I drove a mile back and forth to work, I probably wouldn't use it. And then the time when I might use the subscription, like if I was going on a road trip, then I might pay for it. Like, I'm trying to think of the actual cases, but I would probably use it on a road trip. Like if I was, which of course they don't happen for most people very often, maybe once a year. And that way you can just get on the freeway and go drive a few hundred miles without touching the steering wheel. I think that's a case for it. But like for me, because I just drive so much, period, I think it's worth it. I think it's like well worth it. Yep. They'll subscribe for the month, but that's cool. I mean, even if, and which is fine. So Tesla made $200 for that person, and all the people like them. And it didn't cost Tesla anything. They already have the software. It's literally just a switch. They'll either cancel or like it a lot or forget to cancel. There's some, I don't know if any of you guys are in the same boat. Is there any subscriptions that you have that you don't use just because either you kind of forgot or are too lazy to cancel? All right. Recap how I'm playing Tesla this week. All right. So I'm holding on to what I have. I have a few iron butterflies, and I have a few butterflies, and I have one right at where it was at, 650. I have a 630, and then I have a couple condors to the upper side. So all in all, very little money that I actually have out there, but I'm not making any big plays. Everything else, if the stock price is anywhere close to the short, I will roll them out to August 20th. That's what I'm doing, but nothing specifically like waiting for earnings to happen besides those few. And with the condors and the butterflies, I'll close those out at like as soon as they're up 100 or 200%. Would you enter cheap weekly calls? There's no cheap calls on Tesla. No. So, like, for what dates? That's essentially why I got the condor. No, I would, instead of playing those, I would play either condors or butterflies and just do like a long or short butterfly because they're way cheaper and your upside potential is a lot more. If, let me. Where's the ROBINHOODs? Like, what's cheap? That's the problem. Next week, I mean, is $100 cheap? We'd have to move up $60, and we'd have to do it pretty quick. I don't know what cheap is. Like, maybe cheap is $20. See, like, when I'm thinking cheap, I guess I'm thinking anywhere between like $20 and $50. And instead of doing this, I would play something more likely and structure it as a long condor, because you can play this for way cheaper and have pretty decent. I mean, if it goes up to 800 next week, but it's not happening, I don't think. Then yes, you could have made more money on these. But a long condor is going to get you it's going to get you a lot. You're still going to be 200-300 times your money, and you can play something more likely. 700 calls, 150. Do you think it's going to go? Do you think that's where it's going to be? Is like 700? Okay, so, and then of course, you're going to have to be pretty good upside to make that a profitable play to maybe double your $150, $160. Instead of that, I would play a long condor. And so this is, let's see if it lets me build this. But so how about instead of that, we do, if this will refresh, we'll give ourselves a little bit more runway. Does it show it on here? Hey, where's my chart? I have to accept it or what? It's not showing it to me. Oh well. Just write it for a few days. You could. But I'm not doing that. I would rather do the long butterfly or long calls, or long condor. I hate using the. Actually, wait, do I have to continue to see this? Where's my chart? Does it only show it on during the week? Usually shows that nice like little profit and loss. Let's go to option strat. Okay, so and this is what I have. So we'll build a long do a long butterfly or a long coal condor. And if we want to do it just for the week, and we could tighten this up. So let's go. If you're thinking it's going to head towards 700, oops. So on this, we could play for, oh, we can tighten it up one more. Oh, 710. There we go. All right. So for $16, if you think it's going to head up this way, your $16, you could have a profit of $484. That really can't happen because it closes you out a little bit early. Well, no, it could happen with Robinhood. But if we look at the DTE, so look at this. So we only have like a few days, Monday, Tuesday. If you open this up, by Wednesday, anything above 650, you're profitable. And if it happens to be at, if it happens to, be around that $700 price on Wednesday, you're up what, 400, 500%? Almost 500%, and that's a $16 play compared to a $160 play. So in theory, you could take your same $160, do 10 of these, and by Wednesday, if it was 700, then you'd be up 780. If it just broke 660, you'd be up $120. And towards the end, if somehow you could hold it, you'd be up, that's $4,800 compared to hoping it goes up there, and it's more likely a loss on just that call. Out of the money calls just are more likely to lose. But Monday, Tuesday, you have a pretty wide area here. So just a thought. That's how I'm playing it, and this is keep in mind, $16 max risk, $16 for this play. Yeah, to open it, you'll play a little bit of the slippage, and maybe it'll cost you $18, maybe $20. But $20 into, you won't hold it till the very end. But $18 into 400, it's pretty good. It's like 2,000%, I think. Really good. And I've been able to hit most of those. I've had to close them out on. Let's see, the last one I closed out on Thursday, and most of them I've gotten at least 100% profit on, because when you're still a few days from expiration, that profit is actually pretty wide. I think this would be better than just a naked call, but just my opinion. I hope you buy a $700 call and then it goes to $800 and you're just rich. That's what I hope. Or no, I hope it only goes to $795, because I think I have a $795 call sold in my shares, and I want to get rid of my shares. Let's see. Enter cheap weekly calls. Yeah, and these are basically my new cheap. These are cheap weekly calls. I think that have a better chance of hitting, and $150 in my mind is not cheap. I think cheap would be like $5 or something like that. And these things, it's amazing. Like when you see a pullback, you'll grab this $16 play Monday. Let's say you see a pullback, this thing will be like $10 or $6 or $5 or something like that. You can play these for dirt cheap. They're not gonna hit a lot very often, but but to see like 100% profit, as long as you take it, that's always the difficult part too, because you could be like, let's say, the middle of the day, you still have 3 days till expiration, and let's say Tesla's sitting there at, let's look at the graph or the table. This is the thing. So like you want it to be right at that $700 level in this part. So let's say Monday, Tuesday, it goes up right to that $700 level, and then if you just wait another day, it goes up so much. Why isn't this profit and loss dollars? It actually should be more than this. This graph is wrong. This graph is right. But anyways, yeah, what I was looking at, if you happen to be right up here on like Wednesday, you've made $80, but knowing you could hold it another day and you're up 135, and it's pretty cool because at that point you're just showing like 900% winnings, and then right before expiration you could be up to $400 as long as it stays in that range. So but I've liked that recently. And at the end of the day, then you only have $16 at risk. So if you happen to buy it and it just goes down, oh well, you lost $16 instead of $160, because your $160 could become worth $50 pretty soon if the whole market happens to fall. We'll still have some decent. I still think we'll have some decent IV though in the next week. So, you guys have anything else? Let me make sure this thing is still going. Cool. You guys have anything else we want to run through? I think we've been on for a while, and my hair is not going to cut itself. I think I need to go see someone about that. Bullish or bearish next week, overall market, beginning of come Friday, bullish. I think Monday or Tuesday will be either sideways or down a bit, and I think we'll recover by the end of the week. And midweek, I think we'll all be feeling very sad and hopeless, and then we'll see things turn around. That's what I think. Specifically, Nas. What's that? Don't tell me that's a ticker I haven't seen. I hope it's just something I don't know. Is it? Don't tell me that, because that's too many Z's. If it has 5 letters, probably. No, thank God. NASDAQ? NASDAQ? Okay. I've never seen it spelled out. NASDAQ. I think Monday, yeah, still same thing. I think, I guess we just look at the Qs too. Yeah. But I think Monday, Tuesday, we'll see some evenness, some uncertainty. Tuesday down, Monday, Tuesday-ish. Wednesday, digestion. Thursday, Friday, some FOMO, and hurry up and buy. But man, yeah, that Monday, because usually down Fridays, usually down Monday. Be super nice to see some reversal on that. Good Lord. Poor NASDAQ. You're saying you're selling 8 out of the money puts on CCIV. You're going hard on CCIV. I haven't looked at them in a while. Probably since last week. I think we talk about them every once in a while. Oh, they've been just like sideways. All right, let's see. Oh, you're just selling puts on them? What strike price? How long should the expiration be for selling puts? Opening up most positions statistically should be 4 to 6 weeks out at least. And that's coming from Tom Sosnoff. That's like Tastyworks. That's real back tested, real data, not me just going, this is what I feel like doing. Unless they get stomped. Their financials are scary to me. That's why I was like, I can't remember where I had them. I was into them for like a little bit till I looked at their financials, saw that BS that they pulled right after they SPAC'd, and I was out. Done. 30 and 35? Wait. When did you sell them? You have 30 and 35 puts sold? Tastyworks had a complete fraud on and still they have their video. Oh, Karen Super Trader. Yeah. That's super cool that they didn't take it down, though, right? I mean, like, I think so. I think it's cool that they still have her up. At least that video. I think Tom's pretty legit, though. Like, yeah. He just does some pretty smart things. And they actually do the back testing. Like, that's his full-time job, is researching that. Yeah, let's talk about these $30 and $35 puts. When did you sell them? Did you sell them before it was down there? And you're how far out? Wait, from 6:30 to November. Your positions are confusing me. So you're just super bullish on it? And what we've had... Did you sell them like when it was all hyped up? Merger? Who are they merging with? Or are they SPAC? Okay. But if you know it, everybody knows that potential news. And the market is very unhappy. Okay, let me see. Strike price, I don't know. I'm either get assigned or have an average of 21-ish, or I either get premiums as profit. I have 7 contracts. Oh, so you sold them. Okay, so you wanted... All right, let me back up a second before both William and I are like, why did you sell them? So you sold them. You got like $700, $800, $900 premium. You wanted to own the shares. You wanted to like make sure you were owning the shares, and so with the premium collected, it's just going to put you in a position to own them at like 21, right? But strike price, I don't know. Okay, $10, $11 premiums. Okay, no, that makes sense now. So you just, yeah. So you love them. Got it. Okay. Got it. Yes, 100%. Awesome. All right. William, you got it too? He just wants to own the stock and doesn't give a crap. Like, that's it, and he's going to get paid for it, and wanted to make sure 100% that, yeah, 100% he wanted to make sure that he was getting assigned. He did not want to sell premium and not get assigned. That he is not playing the wheel. Germany in the house. What's up? Thank you. Yeah, just about done here too. Everybody well, not anymore. My ex-wife's name was Machen, and so everybody that I ever meet from Germany, or she met from Germany, always tells me what her name meant. Actually, her name was Machen Baurichter. No, that's cool though. You're up 400K on CCIV at one point. I'm gonna take a wild guess and say that point was in February. Just a wild guess. What are they spec? They. So you're into them for like 10, $11. Man, you're huge into them too. Man, a lot of people super into CCIV. I think if any, like, out of all the, yeah, and I think I've said it quite a few times. I think out of all of them, I think Lucid is going after the right segment, like 100%. They're not trying to compete, even though like half their marketing is always about competing, and everybody always wants to compare them with Tesla. I think they're doing it the right way, going 100% luxury because nobody. Well, I mean, I guess Mercedes has their luxury, but nothing. Besides the Mercedes, there's nothing else luxury out there in the EV space that's like truly luxury. I know the Model S is supposed to be a luxury car, but is nothing compared to when you get into a Mercedes or a Lexus. I think that is where they have it. I don't care about their battery technology. I don't care about their motors. I don't think any of that's important. I think it's going to be fit, finish, quality, reliability, and that is it. Like if it actually feels wonderfully luxurious, I think that's gonna be it. It doesn't like so stupid like range just doesn't matter. Nobody drives 500 miles 400 miles a day. How fast it is, yeah, you want like Teslas already have that good. If you've ever driven like a V8 Lexus or Mercedes, like it's not like you're using that thing to race around. It's just knowing that this super heavy brick of a car can get out of its own way, like, and you want it to feel effortlessly quick and torquey. And being an EV, you already have that, so I don't think that's a huge challenge for them. And I feel like that's a component of having something very luxurious. So I think they're right, but the range, power, like you don't need 1,000 horsepower. You don't need 600 horsepower. You need 400 pounds of torque. 300 to 400 pounds of torque, and then you feel like you're in a luxury vehicle. That's my opinion. I'd rather have an electric Audi than a Lucid. Except for the way, well, it depends how they put them together. It depends how they, like, it's hard to say because it's like they're kind of doing brand new things too. You'd have to see what went into it. Or if you just already love, and it would be a different experience, like if you just love Audis, but you just want it, and you also want just to have it electric, and you like the fit, the finish, so you already like the interior, you like where all the controls are, as long as they're kind of just doing that and then dropping a motor in and a battery pack, then it's kind of one-to-one. Otherwise, they're creating something new, and you really need to see whether or not you'd like it. Electric Porsche is amazing, and of course Tesla Plaid. Yeah, it's just like Tesla Plaid. Like above a certain amount of power, you just don't need it, and it's not practical or usable except for when someone's in the passenger seat and you're like, look what my car can do. The amount of times I actually put the accelerator all the way down is like very, 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 very few. Most of the time it's just like autopilot chilling. Oh, not buying an electric car. My mate is a firefighter, and he says e-cars are death traps. That's a good reason not to. That's a very good reason not to. What, just like from the like battery packs exploding or something. But also you're looking at somebody who, it's always hard to take the data from somebody like that who like literally just sees the bad side of things, you know. Like I always think it's it must be super tough being a police officer, just because you see the bad part of society. That's like all you see all day long, which is very skewed. It'd be super difficult. Oh, good night. Is it nighttime? Thank you so much. Always quick thought on Coinbase. I made a killing of it with 2 weeks ago, and then came back down. It's a gateway, and I mean, it's a gateway that's going to be there. I think long term, it's going to be very good. Short term, as more and more people are getting probably burnt out on waiting for Dogecoin to come back up, and a little disappointed in some like whatever other crypto they're invested in. I think short term, it's definitely going to have some difficulty, but Coinbase has been there forever, and I think long term, it's going to be there. Probably good long term. Short term, I have no idea. I actually grabbed. Oh, I didn't even post it because I bought and sold them so quickly. Like, I think it was Friday. I grabbed some puts on them and sold them, which isn't a stock I usually play. Also, the owner of a Tesla Plaid that caught fire is a huge hedge fund manager that shorts Tesla. I know, that is so suspect. I saw that. I haven't seen any more follow up on that though. Yeah, that was crazy. Did they follow up on like the cause of it or anything? Like, just happened to burn down. Not saying it can't happen, but and also it's like the I think even if you compare the amount of fires that they have, because Tesla's always in the news for every little bad thing that happened, I think it's a lot less than even just like regular cars catch on fire like way more often, let alone other EVs. Or what were those the Fiskars that all caught on fire, like a whole row of them or something at one point? He paid him off. It's a dead story. Damn, money screws us so bad. Anyways, well, I'm gonna get going. Hopefully we get to see you guys next week. Probably see you during the week too. We'll see what the week brings us. I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty excited to actually see what happens. Just because we can definitely see. I see both sides of the coin right now very clearly too. There's not one that is like, you can't discount inflation, you can't discount the political stuff, you can't discount any of that, like, at all as something to move. Okay, good stuff. Next video is wow, Tesla explosion to 740. All right, here, I'll put this on, dude. Wait, where's my wrong button? Can we? All right, I'm gonna copy that. Okay, copied. I will remember that. All right, guys, have a great rest of your weekend. Thanks for coming by. I super appreciate you guys. Makes it all super fun. Makes me take a little bit off on my Saturdays to do something. Hopefully at one point I get to do this during the week. It'd be super cool, like during market hours. But all right, we'll go ahead and end it here. You guys have a great week, and we'll see you when Tesla is 740. All right, love you guys. Bye.